What is up, good people out there in the world? It's Rational Gig Driver here. And guess what? Rational Gig Driver still hasn't gone back to work. I have still not done a delivery yet for 2025. I know, it's crazy. Well, really, it originated. I was going to go back. We had all this weather happen, and then another wave of sickness coming through the house. So it has been crazy and we still, yesterday, I thought I was going to get out to work, and I get a call from my son's school, and he says, oh, he's sick. So, here we are, February. I have not done one delivery yet, and that is insane to me because I couldn't believe it's been that long. I haven't done really, like I said, any serious gig work in a very long time, but I'm hoping this Saturday I'm going to go out for a little while at least, and I've got to get the car tuned up as well. So I've got to do those things, but I want to kind of maybe try to put that together this Saturday as we go. But wow, let me tell you something. Crazy stuff, guys, going on out here on YouTube. Crazy stuff going on the apps. I've been following it. I'm keeping my left eye on it. Just making sure I'm up to speed on everything that's going on. And it seems like these apps are changing. And I have not gotten the new piloted rewards program. So I'm curious about that, if and when it will come, how I like it. But I think that what I will say is this, is that it's definitely a change of tone out here. I'm hearing more people, more creators are being forced to address the fact that DoorDash isn't consistent and that it is a struggle at times. And it's a struggle a lot of times. When I left, the last times I was doing it on a regular basis, it was not good in terms of steadiness. It was requiring me to be out longer and longer and longer. And even as a multi-apper, even when I would bring in the multi-apping, sometimes that would work, sometimes that wouldn't. Sometimes I'd be sitting there having to wait for the right order. And yet, while I would make a great order value rate, it would require me to be out for a while. Otherwise, I was going to make, I was going to make a very potentially poor miles to money ratio. Remember, when you're in gig work, guys, and you're out here working, if you're working, your car's moving, right? It has to. So, all the lies, all the hyperbole, all the things that you've heard, all the things you've been lied to about by creators out there, I'm telling you, there's no way around it. You're going to drive, right? So you got to get a good gas efficient car. You've got to get good technology. I mean, if your technology isn't working, if your technology isn't connecting, then you're losing out on opportunities. I mean, this is just simple business thoughts that should resonate with every person out there trying to be successful in the gig world. But yet, you would come out here and a creator would talk about it and they would get absolutely slammed and they would say, all you need to do is adopt this program and it's great. And of course, lo and behold, we find out that all of that for a lot of these creators were lies. They were manipulating the system, so to speak, with cheat codes and things of that nature. And that's what they amounted to. And then they'd come out and again, remember, the victor always tells the story of the victory, right? It's the loser that nobody believes, right? When the loser says, well, this is what it is, and the victor says, nah, I won. So they tell a different story. They're not going to tell the loser story, right? But the reality is as the victories are less and less, the loser stories take over, and you start to understand that, guess what? There was something wrong with the victories. And we knew that. We found out about that. We know that there are things that are going on out there. We know these are computer programs. We know there's end arounds. There's back doors, there's things that are going on. And that's just the end of the day thing. So what we have to think about is what is the relationship of the average driver to these apps? What is their experience like? And on a daily basis, it's a tough one. Which is why I stand by the fact that if you're out here doing this on a full-time basis or attempting to do this on a full-time basis, it's going to be very difficult, especially if you're trying to rely on one app in today's market. Now, the apps will bring you in and they will pay attention to you when you first get started. And then you will become like everyone else. It's a computer program. It's designed that way. I think the thing that everybody seems to forget is that these are computers at the end of the day. That app on your phone is nothing more than a computer program that is designed to give you an idea, to wrap you in and keep you engaged. And the idea is that once you become consumed with the game, right, then you're not worried about what you're getting paid to play the game. You just want to play the game. So the key here is you've got to be in a position to not get caught up in the game, right? To remember what you're out here for. You're out here to make money. You're out here to make money as long as you can. Your car, your asset, right, is only going to be driven for a finite amount of time. So your job is to drive your car as least as you can, to make as much as you can, and to be able to make as much money for every mile that you drive. That is your game. That is the only game you should be playing. You're not here to play the game of DoorDash in the sense of getting ratings and getting this and getting that and acceptance rate. And does acceptance rate matter? It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is how much money per mile are you making and how much time per hour does it take for you to make a certain amount of money. And all of that is interconnected. And that's why order value, which has been a focus of mine since I came out here, it's what I focus on. And for me, if I'm out here for 4 hours, my goal is to try to make as much money as I can within those 4 hours. But I'm not willing to go drive, 200 miles to make $200 in those 4 hours. It just doesn't make sense, right? So the goal here is I need to be able to find orders that pay me as much money per mile and get me as much money as I can in that 4 hour period. And I want to understand what did I get and what orders did I get and where was I at. And the only way you're going to be able to do all of those things is keep track of things. Keep track of your data so you can reflect back on those things as you come in. But look, this is a game that I think a lot of people know. It's just that they don't want to have to think that that's what it is. They want this to be something different. They want to believe the fool's gold and the lies that the apps tell you, where they say if you just do this, you're going to get your pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. There is no rainbow. There is no pot of gold. It's just what it is, and it's a computer program that you're playing with. So once you understand all of that, you have eyes wide open, and you come in, you can be successful in the gig world. Now, obviously, you're looking at me and you're saying, "Hey, you haven't done this for a few months now. You haven't worked full time in a long time." You're right, I haven't. Right? I found other things that I wanted to do that have taken my time, and I'm making, and I'm off the road, and I'm cooling my heels. Why? Because at the end of the day, this is not the best place for you to always be from a mental health standpoint when you're out here alone in your car, driving people their food or their groceries, and you're taking shit from the app and you're taking crap from the customers. So you've got to be able to pause. You've got to be able to be working on other things away from gig apps. Gig apps are there for you when you need them. They're there for you to get you to where you need to go. But then once you get to where you're going, never leave them behind, because you may need them again. You never know. You may need a little small infusion of cash, or you may run into a scenario where whatever you were doing that was, your primary, now you've got to make gig apps your primary. But at the end of the day, when I come back to them, I fully anticipate this Saturday I can take the same principles I had last year and apply them, because they make sense. They're common sense principles. So you've got to use common sense. Most drivers do not. Most drivers are following the computer. They're following the algorithm. They're following things. They're following the company that says we obviously DoorDash is a for-profit company. So every time they get a driver to take an order that's against their own benefit, the company benefits. It's just the bottom line. There's more, there's only so much money involved in that order. So it's a war over that. And what the thing about it is we're the most important part of that order, believe it or not. Without us, nothing exists. Right? They would convince you, the customers, no, we are. Because if we're not there to pick up that order and bring it to that customer, then the whole thing doesn't exist. And obviously AI could come into effect at some point, but I really doubt that that's really that big of a threat, because of I just don't think it will be. There's a lot of impossibilities right now with all of that. Could that change? Obviously. But right now, it's not a big threat. But what we have to do is we have to realize that we are that important. And we have to go and make sure our importance is reflected in what we're being paid. I'll leave you with that, guys. Rational Gig Driver coming to you from the car. Hopefully I'll be out this weekend. And if I do, maybe I'll take you guys along. Maybe I'll go live for a little bit just to prove you guys that I'm still working. But hey, you know what? Until we talk again, until we meet again, stay rational.